Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Brooder Cat dozer conversion. As you can see, the dozer has progressed quite a bit, but on a note, I'm going to strip it all back down and show you all from where I left off in part 1, and yeah, show you everything that I've done up until this point. So, there we are, all stripped back down, pretty much to where we left off in part 1. Just lay that out there. So firstly, I want to apologise for the sound quality in the first video. It wasn't over brilliant. I did notice that it kept cutting out, so apologies for that. And also, I kept referring to this as, well, I referred to it once as the D10 dozer, but it's actually D11. But we've taken some measurements, and from the scale that it's actually meant to be, that it's not anywhere near a D11 dozer or a D10. The blade size, blade width, and the actual dozer itself, to me, isn't scaled correctly for a D10 or a D11. You know, with the length of it, etc. You know, there's a massive difference. So I think I'm probably going to make it something like a D8R or a D9, just to kind of bring it to scale to, you know, with the blades and everything. So yeah, that's just on that point. So with regards to the actual conversion, we left off in part 1 with the front tube for the mount. The rear tube is pretty much the same, but because of the plastic on the front, it has like a raised section which that tube actually sits on, and on the back it doesn't. So what I've had to do is I've got some more aluminium tube, which was roughly the same diameter as the inside diameter as the outside diameter of this. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's about 3mm wall tube. It's 3mm wall tube. And where's my caliber? And it's yeah, I think it's 22mm tube outer diameter. So yeah, and the reason for that being is it's basically had to be like a collar inside here, so that when the track frame, which is here, slides in, it's at the right height for the pins to slide in. I don't know if you can see that. So otherwise it'd be too low. So as you can see from here now, they're both sitting at the same height. So as you can see in this one here, it's got the plastic, so that's slightly higher. So I've had to put an aluminium tube around that sleeve to pick it up, so it lines up to the centre of the hole. So that's, you know, I have a CNC machine router, I have a lathe. All this stuff can be done, you know, by normal tools, you know, hacksaw, handsaw, you know, normal drill, etc. So don't let yourselves be put off with me saying that I've got these certain tools and that. It's just that I'm, you know, very interested in that kind of stuff. All the stuff I've done is all self-taught. I've taught myself how to use a lathe. I've taught myself how to use Fusion 360, creating, you know, CAD files and CAM files and everything, and it's all self-taught. So it's just something that I've been very interested in doing. And with regards to all these models, I do this for a living. Not creating models, but I drive construction machinery for a living, dozers, diggers, dumpers, etc. So it's just something that I can kind of be my own boss when I'm driving these around. So yeah, so with regards to that, that's pretty much how the track frames go on. So I've put these on. I have completed all these together, as you can see. got all the idlers on. With regards to the front, it's basically the standard pin, and then I've machined some brass collars down. I find it runs nice on the original pin, and then the back one is just basically standard. So yeah, so these fits in, and they slot in nice and tight, and so they're easy accessible on and off, and that's just screwed underneath the 2 screws, and the front one is only 1 screw, and it's plenty enough because it all still fits in the same plastic. I have all my rollers on, 16mm brass, solid brass, and I've just machined all the plastics out so they fit in. And then with regards to holding them on, I basically drilled out the original little dimple holes. They're not actually holes, but they're dimples that's in the plastic. I've drilled them out both sides, M3, and then tapped both sides, and then used a 30mm long set screws. So when they screw through, they screw into the other side, so it actually holds the plastic nice and tight so the plastic can't pull apart. So when the track's like moving inside of here, yeah, and they run pretty free, to be fair. So and all the rollers run free. The 16mm diameter on that actually lines them up not quite nice with the track. So when the track's sat on that and the track's sat on there, they're pretty much in line. So yeah, so they fit on. As you can see, they fit on quite simple. Just slide in like that. I can get that one in, and that's how they fit on. So you can see that it's you know, everything can be done. You just trial and error. I'm doing this really because it gives me the outline of a dozer already. I do plan on building my own scratch built metal dozer. It'll probably be 115, 114 scale. This is going to be running hydraulics for the blade. I'm doing it because I want to look into the hydraulics and stuff. I have a hydraulic digger in that, but that was already pre-built. So I've got another excavator I want to build a scratch built as well. So this is all just trial and error because this gives you the actual start off and completion of a dozer already, because it is a dozer. You know, all the sprockets in the right place and everything, so you can take all them measurements off the original and just basically fabricate everything to put it all back. Same as the plates for the motors. You know, that's just 50mm square, 6mm plate. You can have, if you haven't got saws on that, wherever you buy your stock from, they will cut it to size for you, and then you just basically got to map out your holes and drill them. So everything can be done pretty simple. I will show something on this because this is just square and I didn't realise. Well, I'll show you now, where you can see here. I've had to, with my Dremel, I've had to take the corners off. These motors were mounted before with but they were sat on the inside. So now with the plate on the outside, and the tracks are quite wide, the track was actually running, was catching on that metal plate. So what I do plan to do in the future is I'm going to recut these out on my CNC, but redesign them so they're actually curved around. The only reason why I did them square was because on the inside I'd already cut a square hole out, so I had to make them big enough to get the bolt holes. But they will be machined in a circular so that the track will follow it. So yeah, that's pretty much with the tracks and everything on. So it's looking pretty good. I have got a lot of likes and a lot of love for the picture that I put on Facebook. So as it was built up, and as you can see from the start of the video. So with the next part is I have some 32mm. I think it's 32mm. I can remember. 38mm by 6mm. If I hold out there, you can probably see it. Aluminium flat bar. I've had to machine 2 little screws in there because that's where the bolts are that hold the tracks on the front, and that is basically a support that runs through. I'll just put these bolts back in for the tracks. So yeah, these tracks, 2 bolts going in here, and they are just simply drilled all the way through the aluminium rod that was already in there that I showed you in the first video, and I've just drilled them all the way through, tapped them all the way through, so they just screw into that, and they hold it in nice and tight so the tracks don't move, and it makes it a lot stronger. So it's not really relying on the plastic so much now. It's a lot of it's all metal. So that's tight there. There are 2 that go in the back that hold the back, but I won't put them in for now because I just want to show you, and the video will be massively long otherwise. So that's that, and then this plate goes in and fits into there like so, and that basically braces the front and back track frame mounts to make it super strong, and then nothing will move. So like again, that's just drilled through, tapped into the track frame mounts, and just screwed in all them 3 bolts. You can buy all this kind of stuff off Amazon, etc., or eBay, wherever. I usually get all my kind of stuff off Amazon because I'm with Prime and I can get it next day delivery, so I'm not one for waiting for stuff. I like to crack on with stuff. So that just screws down. So, and there's the pretty much basics of the chassis of the dozer so far. So then we move on to what a lot of people have been asking about, is the actual tracks and what they're running on. This is a sprocket that I designed and cut out on the on my CNC router. I basically, when I got my tracks, I measured it all, so there probably are too many teeth on this because it runs every other, I think, but it's just for if anything slips, it'll engage it. And then what mounts it is I've made this hub that fits onto the motor. That was 50mm aluminium that I've machined down, so I think it's 44mm. Yeah, 44mm, and then that's 25mm, just for that to mount on. And then I've drilled all the holes out so it'll have all bolts and look, you know, pretty good. And then it's just a single set screw, so that's quite hefty, so it gives a bit more weight on the back end, and it makes it look like the full drive motor when the actual sprockets are on, which I will put that on now so you can see them all on. Where's the Allen key? The motors are really, you can tell how much torque they are by how, when you're trying to turn them by hand, they're really tight. So and this one goes on. So yeah, and that's it with the sprockets and everything on. So it looks pretty cool. I'm liking what I'm actually getting done. This is all new to me, so I have done a few other models which I will be showing in other videos, but this is my first dozer, so it's looking pretty cool. Looks, you know, once it's all painted up in cat yellow, it'll look good. I'm not putting a ripper on it. I'm just having a metal backplate with a drawbar on. Rippers don't really interest me. I know a lot of people, well, you know, say it won't look like the right one, but I'd rather not have the ripper on and just have the dozer. So that's how that's going to be. And so yeah, onto the actual tracks. Do that. She's in it, and they're just the screws that hold the track adjusters back with the springs. And then onto the tracks. So these tracks are quite heavy. I will, if I can, copy the link in the description, description below. These tracks come singular from AliExpress, and for the price of them, they are ridiculously cheap. They are 56 pence each. They come with the pins, the stainless steel pins. I was actually going to print up, so. There's actually 39 track pads to fit onto the dozer. So that's 39 track pads. So for the price, that's what, like £19 a side, and then your delivery. But what I did was when I bought these, I think I bought 100 of them because I've got a track loader I want to do as well. So I thought, get them all in. The shipping doesn't go any more after a certain point, so it's quite reasonable. When you're looking at the lesser track pads and stuff like that, they are quite expensive. I think they're around, if my memory recalls, around £4 each. So you know, you get a lot for your money with these, and they look pretty cool. You know, they are very, very good quality. They look the part. They're 50mm wide, so you've got, you know, it makes the dozer look pretty cool. So yeah, I will try and put a link in the description, just so anybody watching this can go and find the same trackpad as I've used. So we will get this on there, and then we will be somewhere near where it was at the start. So just pull that through. Around the eyelet. And then I'll put the dozer on its side. Is that the right side? No, that is the wrong side. So when I try and do this, I try and make it so that the pins knock in, so that the pins knock in from this side and then knock out from that side. So if any start coming loose, you can actually see them, because if they're on the other side, you won't see them and the tracks fall off. So that is the right hand side track. So my bad. What I'll do is I'll turn it round. So yeah, I'll just show you, so you can actually see. I don't know whether you'll actually see, but you can see that these have like a little serrated edge on the pin. The pin is here. So that's the pin there, and it has like a little serrated edge, and then a normal flat end on the one side. So as you knock that in, that goes tight in the track, so it doesn't stop it from coming out. So I like to have that on the outside of my track, so that I can actually see if any of them do vibrate loose. So yeah, try and do them opposites if you can. If you do plan on using these, obviously. So, get that, stand it up on the side. And then simply, it can be a little bit fiddly, and then push that through. That's got that there. Where's my punch gone? Where is my punch? And there's my punch there. And then simply get a punch and knock that in, and now the track's on. And there you go. And that looks pretty cool. A lot of people use tank tracks and that, but for the money, that just sets it off. Them tracks look absolutely, you know, the total part for a dozer this size. I have just bought some. I will explain all this when I get round to that part of the video. The hydraulic system and that. I bought that from off AliExpress as well. And I've also bought some excavator track pads off there, which again, they are very, very good quality, and they were about the same price, around 50 odd p each. So The only downside to AliExpress is obviously it takes about 4 weeks to come, but if you order if you're going to do a couple of models, then order the amount that you want at that time for all the models, and then you haven't got to wait for them. So again with this one, get that pin in, right punch, knock that through, and now that's on. So then with regards to the tensioner, now my idea is I'm going to take the spring that I put in here and I'm going to put a stronger spring in, so that I want to try and get it so that the spring actually does move slightly, so if anything does jam in there, it doesn't actually like snap anything, so it has got a bit of give in it. So if I can tensioned it up. Quite nice. And on the other side. Yeah, so I want a stronger spring. I want that to really force that out, so it's keeping the tension almost by itself. That can move slightly, so it gives it a bit of freedom. But yeah, that's with the tracks on, so it's looking pretty cool. With regards to the body, because the tracks are so high, you do have to trim some of this out in here because they catch otherwise. So that does have to be trimmed slightly, because these are quite tall compared to the originals. So, next part. I have been making a front end for it. So, you can obviously use the original, so this is the original plastic, and it used to have the original sockets where the pins used to go through that hold the fake cylinders. I didn't really want to use them because I want more strength in the dozer, so I've actually built, again you can do all this by hand, it's just aluminium that I've cut and drilled, and you know it's all 6mm, so it's quite strong. I've made an aluminium metal front end, and then these are going to be where the cylinder clamps go into, because what I'm going to do, I haven't made them yet, is I'm going to machine some brass to give it a bit more weight, and then they'll slot in there. I'll either put a bushing on the back or a set screw so that they pivot side to side for when the blade angles over. And then I'm going to clamp the cylinders with 2 set screws in like a U-clamp, which will then pivot forwards and backwards. So, but I'll get to that in another video. But this is just the front end. I have designed it so that this fits over, and you get, I'm holding it a bit high, but yeah, so that all fits in like that, and you get the original plastic grill. So I'll just sit that in there so you can actually see. So that fits in there like that. It's screwed in through the bottom, through the plastic, and then on that bar that I put in, I've got some angle that you can see there. Four screws into that, and then that screws into this as well, and then that makes it really nice and solid. Doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, that's as far as I've got so far. The next thing is going to be making these cylinder mounts, and then starting to mock everything up for the hydraulic tank and everything to go in. So that'll be in the next video, and then I'm going to start looking at making the arms for the sides to go to the blade. I am going to use the original blade, the plastic blade at the minute, but I am going to make a metal one because you might as well have the weight in the dozer. So yeah, that goes on, body goes on, like so. Fits all original. I broke all the other clips off because I want this to be able to be removable quite easy, and there's just the 2 clips in the front here where the steps used to be, or where the steps are, should I say. So they're the only 2, so you can get a screwdriver to them and then that will lift off. I'm trying to make everything accessible as I can, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it all accessible through the front. So this is going to be like removable, so you can take that off, put the battery in the front, slide it in. The hydraulic tank's going to sit on the front, and then the battery will slide over the top. That's my plan. There is enough clearance, and I'll make some sort of battery tray in there, and then it'll just slot in nice and neat. You've got like plenty of weight on the back anyway with the motors. I will weigh it, and then with everything on the front, it should be. You know, it takes time. Obviously, you work and you come home, you get a few hours to play and do stuff, and time soon flies by. But that's what it looks like with the front end coming on. So it's not looking too bad. And then this, I've cut all the parts so that just slots over, like so. And then that looks pretty original. I am going to cut this down. I'm going to have a single exhaust, single air filter, and just make all that, and then obviously that goes back on like so. But yeah, that's what I'm up to at the minute. So I hope that you're liking what I'm doing, and it gives you encouragement to do your own stuff. I do post stuff on Facebook and on the various groups. So if any questions, just ask away, or any comments. Please, ask any questions if you want to know where some stuff is. If you're in the UK or Europe and you want something making, and I can make it for you that's cheaper than anywhere else, then just give me a shout, and if I can help you out, I'll try and help you out the best I can. So if you are liking the content and you're liking the videos, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for the next when the next video goes live, and yeah, so I will see you in part 3 and see where we're up to. Thanks for now.